Ooh.
Not nearly
Go for
as
the
much as
spam.
I thought. That one did,
Spam.
though.
Spam.
Hello, CSC. Welcome back to episode 2 of the weekly drop. I am your host, Konatoki, with my co-host, Kigo. Sadly, we are missing a host, but we got some moves in the process. And we've got guests JPC and Dirt Schlurpy. How are you guys doing today?
I am doing peachy. Thank you.
I'm very tired. Thank you.
Kigo, you had a
I'm
good day
alive.
at work?
Yeah, I'm alive. I got here in time. I wasn't late this time, so.
That's a big dub. Okay. Yeah, let's hop right into it. We've got a couple of things on the agenda today. Between predictions, our special guest JPC has been doing a lot of work behind the scenes with tech, with media, with a couple of different teams, and I am very happy to see a lot of people participating in your predictions that you've been doing in the server for the match days. As someone who was doing, my own solo predictions for a while. And then we'll also go into prospect with Dirt. Dirt, I have, as we were kind of just discussing before, not too familiar with your team or your players. I love Leadbone. I love the Sav franchise, and so very happy to kind of get into some questions. Yes. And then afterwards, we'll kind of dive back into all the other tiers and get into recruit up to Premier, any of the recent matches that happened, upsets, all that good stuff. Let's begin though. So, Dirt, how's it going? How's your season looking so far?
It's turning around. We started off 0-3, and then we came back with 2 strong wins against Cow and I believe it was HG. The first one versus HG, we kind of blew them out. We took them to a map we knew we were good on, and we blew them out there. And then versus Cow, we had a Vertigo, close match. Got to shout out my boy Sock for dropping a 30 bomb on them and really turning it around. We were down 9-4 and managed a nice comeback.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Sock. Has he been? I'm pulling up some of the stats right now.
So he was on the recruit team last year that went undefeated in CS2 and dominated the championship. He got moved up along with Schlurpy. So they're both on our team now, both up from recruit to prospect. And yeah, so they've been putting up around a 1.0, but then Sock put up like a 1.8 on the match on Thursday. They're, great player. And he's
Who's the IGL of that team?
So, no, definitely not Brokey. That kid's a WQ warrior. Yeah, no. It is Ben. Ben is our IGL. He also coaches for an ESEA team.
Okay.
So he's a little bit of experience. Yeah.
So, okay. Who, remind me again, sorry, I was a little distracted. Who are the recruit promotes?
So there was 3 promotes. They were Toad, Schlurpy, and Sock. Sock and Brokey are on the team, and Toad got traded to Wet.
Yeah. Also, was Brokey's name in recruit different? Was it Salt Brokey still, like how it's spelled now?
Yeah, it's Salt Brokey. We just call him Brokey.
Okay. No, because I only asked because I remembered lots of talks. I don't know if there was a separate Brokey. No, because
he's the one and only.
Yeah, I don't know. I've obviously heard of him referenced or referred to as specifically Brokey, but yeah. And then Ben, I'm pretty sure I've seen that name a while in CSC. Do you know how long he's been playing?
This is his 2nd season. There's like 3 Bens that they all have hyphens at different parts of their name. So yeah.
I got one on my team.
Ben JPC, don't you?
Yeah, our Ben is just the default Ben.
And
all lowercase.
I watched you guys had a stream match, and I watched the highlight, and I have to point out Ben stole my craft, so just making it known that the Neon Rider with the 4x ROPS foils, I had it first with the Vice gloves. It's really clean. I really like it, but I had it first, so he's the copycat.
I convinced him to buy that, actually.
Really?
Not gonna lie. So, yeah, I was helping him find skins, and we settled on it.
So, yeah, no, it's
There's definitely been like a turnaround for your season then, because like you started 0-3, you lost a couple closer games, and then you kind of had a couple of closer games. I'm not too familiar personally with like prospect as a whole. Are the teams that you lost to, like in your opinion, are they good teams, or was it just more you guys trying to figure out what you were doing?
A little bit of both. So day one, they were simply a better team than us. We're missing a sub, but it wouldn't have mattered. They were just better than us. Day 2 probably should have beat that team. I think it was Wet. We scrimmed them like the next day or two, and we just completely stomped them. So it's kind of like shit. Why don't we show up the other day?
Just kind of like just didn't show up that day. Okay.
And then against ATL, we lost. I think it was a relatively close game.
It was 13-10. Yeah.
Yeah, we had game prepped to stop, I believe, Agent Shield. He's he's a really good player and prospect. We managed to slow him down, so our prep worked. They just had other people pop off. What can you do there?
Yeah, it happens.
And then, yeah, so with HG, I believe I put a lot of demo work in. I knew exactly how they were going to play. Kind of read them like a book. And then their GM went into chat saying they were going to 13-0 us that morning. So I was like, all right, you want to see how it is?
That's what Nadesy said?
Yeah, Nadesy. So he's an opper, and I'm an opper. He didn't kill me a single time that game, and I must have 4 or 5.
Yeah,
when
there's no way.
he didn't do a single thing. Yeah. So watch you talk.
I'll have to make sure to remind him about that. Yo, that dirt guy owns you, pal.
8, 2,
7
14,
top.
12% headshot. Nice.
Oh no, that's great. And then the last one was against Cow too, that one's a really close
that
game.
was wild. We had a couple people not do well, and we obviously had Sock pick up the slack for them. I know twice. I went to shoot my op and then I unscoped, so it was just one of those games. But luckily we had Sock there to pick up the slack.
As I say, Sock went 32 and 15. Holy,
yeah.
126 ADR. Yo, good man. Hey, Sans deserves getting slapped around like that once in a while.
Sans was destroying us the first half. He was just walking on a site and just one tapping everybody. We were down 9-4. It was not looking good.
Oh, so it was a good like team comeback win then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those are the best.
Yeah, I can see it on the T side. I mean, it was
You guys lost pistol and then rolled after that.
Yeah, that's our second time winning a full save USP. Like, it was just wild. You're just good at full save USPs, I guess.
I've noticed that a lot. Watching back some of these games, there are a lot of like save rounds, half eco rounds that go the way of the team that it should not be going.
Yeah.
And so I know, unless I'm just looking because I was curious, and like I mean I'm an elite, and I usually pay attention to mostly like Chally and up, right? And I'm looking at all the standings amongst all the tiers. You have Sav third place in recruit. You guys started off rough, but you're coming back, right? Then you have Sav and Contenders second place. Chally, they're like middle of the pack. Kind of, I think they're similar story as what you guys are in Prospect. And then their elite team is also second. So 3 of the 5 tiers are like top 4, top 3 or whatever contenders. Wow,
yeah,
that's kind of crazy. Oh
Sav
my
on
god,
Sav on top this season. We've completed the Sav sweep with every tier winning the same night. We failed it twice earlier with the Prospect and Recruit actually dropping games whenever else won. And then last week on Thursday, we completed the Sav sweep. So it's been a good year for us so far, but knock on wood.
Yeah, of course. And speaking of your franchise, how have you enjoyed the experience so far? Like, are you guys ever talking to or playing with, people outside your own tier?
Yeah, mostly I'm with the Recruit Boys, UK Cats, and Cayman. Cayman Rider. They are like the co-IGLs of the Recruit tier. That's their system. They won the championship last year. They stayed on there, implemented their teams just as good, even though they're missing 3 players. Mostly Cayman. UK doesn't know what he's doing, but he's in the chat right now. I love
UK, so shout out to my boy. One of the first people that helped get me into CSC with Leadbone, actually. Back in
that guy sucks. So mostly it's just like us hanging around. I know me and Cayman just do so much demo review with each other a lot. They do demo review each other. It's like you see them in channel for like 5 hours a day, and they don't even play a game. They can move around the demo player better than on the map. Yeah.
So have you been on Sav for a while now? I mean,
my second season.
Okay, second season.
It's my second season playing too. So
because Leadbone took over midway last season, correct?
Yes, he did. He took over for 5-3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was the other
So-
thing I was gonna ask, if you had been there longer than like that period, if there was like, I don't know what the word is, but I felt like there was maybe some turmoil to an extent. That might not be the proper word, but like in terms of like the transition period, and like I heard rumors that Ledbone didn't want to take over, but then there was like no option, so Ledbone's like, screw it, I'll take it over. And so far, like if that was the case, Ledbone just kind of said, screw it, I'll try it, see what happens. Ledbone's obviously cooking whatever the hell they're doing, because
Yeah.
they got multiple tiers, multiple teams that are, like the contender team and elite teams are both 4-1. The recruit team's 4-1. The prospect and Chally teams are both battling back. So it's kind of, I mean,
Yeah.
they obviously are doing something right.
Maybe, maybe not. He left the country for a week, and we only lost one game in the tier that week. So maybe he is the problem.
So hey, we need to pack Ledbone up and ship that fella out of the country permanent.
Going to Guatemala. Get him out of here. Yeah, no, it was. I don't know how much there was with turmoil in the turnover last season.
Yeah,
it
no,
seemed fine.
I was just curious if there was any
Yeah.
like internal struggles, or what I mean, just not even struggles, but just like differences in terms of like how 5-3 was running it to then how Ledbone wanted to run it. You know what I mean? Or like the interactions within the community.
There's a little bit more of a community this year. I'm not sure if that's just the people or if it's what he has done. I know he
Yeah.
added a few more channels, like the Discord and like just like
To
meme
try to help
channels.
like
Just, like,
improve
stuff like
that,
that.
or like yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if that actually like affects anything? But there's been some changes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
I am curious about your next game. Have you looked at it at all? I don't
have
want to ask you
done-
to leak too much, obviously, but
I have looked at our opponent. They're obviously a very good team. They might be the best team left on our schedule.
mhm.
Yeah, they're 3-2, but they've lost to some good teams and
for
in
those who
close
don't
action.
know, Sav is playing in Prospect OS next
Yeah.
match day.
They currently have the number 1 ranked player, the MVP, 69 Shades of Alpha,
Yep.
whose worst game is a 1.28. He's averaging a 1.45. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if we lose, what are you gonna say? But
No, it
Well,
definitely
then-
looks like a tough game, but I mean, obviously you have to
It's
go into it with
It's a Spence
spirits.
ran team, bro. It's a Spence ran team. Like Spence built
Yeah.
a team. Like
Order the
it-
Samurai.
it's gonna crumble eventually. Like even if you lose to them now, don't worry about them in the playoffs. They might not even make it.
yeah, so looks like they lost to UPS and ATL, which both beat us. So it could be a fun game. They also
Yeah,
beat
it
Rain,
should
who
be
beat
fun.
us, and they beat Frog and Triggerman. So they're a good team. They're a good player on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know in my predictions I've been giving them a lot of respect. I'm pretty sure both of those were matches that I weren't expecting to go in the favor of UPS and ATO. I'm curious your thoughts on those teams, especially having already played them. If you have any thoughts on
Oh, I was not paying attention at all.
Okay, because I know from my perspective, I can speak on a handful of the players that I've already either talked to or known of or seen of, such as like on the UPS roster, and maybe Kigo can even give some additional insight. But the Lil General pickup that you got from OS actually this season has been, I think, paying off really well for you guys. He's been doing a lot of work.
I know for Prospect, I don't know a ton about all the other teams and whatnot, but the one team that I do know about is the Prospect team of UPS, just because I've talked with them a lot and demo reviewed with them a lot. And I think the little G pickup was definitely like an interesting like pickup, right? Just because like we already had Conley who could IGL, but he got promoted from recruit late to Prospect. And I think it's kind of almost made like an interesting like setup for them for a prospect team. They kind of have almost like a double IGL, or like a like a double-headed monster, where like you're prepping, right? Like I mean, I don't know how many teams in prospect actually demo review other teams or prep or do anything like that, right? But like if they are, I feel like a situation like that's kind of tough to prep for, because it's like, okay, well this game they played Ancient, for example. Well, Lil G's comfortable on Ancient, so Lil G was the one calling, right? Now you go to Mirage or something like that, and now Conley's the one calling. So I feel like it kind of makes it like harder for teams to prep against. And I mean, even within each like map, they switch. Like I was asking them because I was genuinely curious, where I've usually always believed in like a one caller, so there's no confusion, no, nothing happening that would confuse somebody mid-round. And they were like, dude, it depends on the round sometimes, depends on the map, who we're playing. I'm just like, hey, if it works, as long as you guys aren't getting tripped up, you aren't getting confused, run it, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what about the big slime, the big slime prospect
Tell me
team?
what you
Are they
think about Big
cooking?
Slime.
I'm seeing B-Web in the chat saying they're the best. I have no idea if that's true. Let's see.
We're
No,
on
they're
the up
They
and
definitely
up.
are
not.
they currently
They are 9.
3-2.
We are
Yeah.
not currently the best, but it's a work in progress, you know.
I think we're one of there. We have them left in our schedule. I think in a week or two. So, looking forward to that one. I think they're one of the better teams left in our schedule. Um, yeah.
Are there any names that you are aware of then, if this is the case, that you are either looking forward to or even, you know, kind of scared of in prospect?
I mean, we've been smacked around a couple of times by ACA in scrims. They're scrims, but you know you're still trying a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously UPS stomped us earlier in the season. You know, AVI seems good. Tridents, we lost a close game to them, so I think that could go either way next time. But yeah.
I would like to just interject and point out AVI and ACA both have 70% CT round win percent. That is crazy to me. They have 73.5% AVI does on CT rounds, and the associates have 69%.
They are the top
On
2 in
CT.
standings, right?
I
Yeah, they
don't
are. They're the
believe
one.
ACA has played their 5th game though.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
the
they
only team
haven't. Yeah, no, they
undefeated.
haven't.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the game that's supposed to happen tonight
Yes.
at like 7:40?
Oh, they're playing Nan. Never mind.
Yeah, and we look at Nan.
Oh, is that a
17.
walk-in? Yeah.
I'm just
Hey,
saying.
okay, but we can
might have
actually-
brought out the auto snipers
Whoa.
versus
we
Nan.
can go
Like,
into
yeah,
transactions. V Sugma just got picked up by Nan, and
Oh,
I'm not
nice.
sure how
He's a good
familiar
player.
you are with him.
Not too familiar. I've seen him around a couple of times, but I remember him being a decent player.
Yeah, he had what was this, one regular season game, and he had a pretty good rating. He was playing with I think it was Hell. I'm assuming that he subbed in and did really well. But I've heard obviously good things about him, and seeing that he got picked up by a team, I think kind of speaks to that volume.
Yeah.
But I personally rate this team higher with this pickup, and so I mean, still going up against ACA, who has very directly shown and told me how wrong I am in my predictions. Not being too familiar with them. Shout out to Box, who I tried to get onto this episode actually, but he ended up being a little bit busy. He has been killing it in prospect, and so wouldn't be surprised if they walked away with this win. But I am curious to see how this V-Sub would pick up.
Oh, it could be one of those like super sub situations, right? Like obviously they signed him now to like the regular roster, but like he hasn't played with them at all, you would assume, since he just got picked up. So it could be one of those situations he comes in and just like
Yeah, I
say
think
just
that's the
helps it out,
story
but,
of
like,
the
you know
game,
what I mean?
right? Is like,
Yeah,
is
just
he
like,
going to walk
that's
in
what
and just
happens,
automatically
bro.
start dropping 30 bombs every game, or is he going to be
a slow cooker?
yeah,
you know?
is
like,
it going to
gotta
take
get
a couple of
implemented.
games for him and the rest of the team to get used to each other's play style and kind of figure it out and whatnot, or is he just going to fall flat? I mean, that's a real possibility. Maybe V Sugma doesn't see the results, or someone else on the team. Nan is a group. All the teams are a group of 5 people, and they all have to play off of each other to some extent. So there's a lot of different things that could come about it. But yeah,
I will say, Prospect has a lot of free agents. I think it's something like 50% of the players are free agents.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of good players. We had to cut a few players that were like, these guys are good enough to be on a team, but we only had one open slot. Like, there's only so much we can do here.
I was just saying there
if
were
you
a
could
couple other
farm,
pickups too.
you could farm 2 or maybe like 3 or 4 good teams just out of the free agents.
Just from the free agents. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I definitely agree. And I know that's been something that's been talked about multiple times between a lot of different conversations within staff and the even SSD or serious discussions. It's like, how exactly do you combat free agency? And I'm curious, if you have any thoughts? I know we talked about it a good bit last episode in terms of, I guess it was Midas's SSD post that was talking about the 3 keeper limit. And how he was kind of relating that to, I guess, the free agency pool. I'm not sure if you have any thoughts outside of that.
I wouldn't be against it. It seems like most teams don't even pick up 4 anyways, but I mean, this is a league where you get drafted. So it's important to keep the new players in mind. I know it would suck if it was my first season and I got cut immediately, it would really turn me off the league. So I think it's good to have a bunch of free agent slots available, and I think with a core of 3, you can still keep that identity of the franchise. But I mean, I'm open for it. It seems like I don't think it really matters that much. I don't think that many teams kept 4 anyways. I think it would be interesting to see that the whole changes with like if you're not able to pick up free agents before the draft. There was some discussion on that. I didn't delve too deep into that, but it's a conversation worth having.
Yeah, no, I definitely saw some of the conversation behind that. Yeah, I'm not sure. JPC, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I mean, the free agents before the draft doesn't make a lot of sense because if you find a player that fits with your team, why wait to sign them and have them sit there in purgatory? You might as well be on your team at that point. I think you guys brought up last week, like having a 3 keeper limit and then being able to sign 1 free agent is actually a very simple solution to the problem. Because you can technically bring in 4 to the draft, but that 4th can't be your original player on the team.
Yeah, I don't exactly remember talking about that. I'm not sure if someone else might have brought it up, but no, I think it's an approach for sure. Yeah,
I think there's other like, not to jump back, but just because we were talking about the FAs in prospect, I saw that Gabe Me was also picked up by another team at the bottom, LEC right now. I see that they made a move to like change somebody. They cut Posk and picked him up. Another one too that I thought was interesting was Nadesy put himself to IR and they put back Stampy Longnose to like the active roster, which are all 3 of the bottom tier teams at the moment in terms of like round win percentage. So it is cool. I mean, it's that kind of time in the season though where you have to make changes. You know what I'm saying? My goat gave me. He's getting a shot. He's getting his chance. So I like to see it. But now is kind of that point in the season where it's like, okay, we're 4 or 5 games in. You know, you kind of, if you're going to make a change, it kind of has to be now. Especially in a tier like prospect where there are so many FAs. Like there are a lot of abilities to change. But you look at a tier like recruit or elite, there are no FAs. There are 0. There are 0. None in elite.
yeah. Tell me about that. You needed a sub for your match day 5, right?
Yeah.
Who'd you end up
I needed
signing
a
there
sub.
if there's no FAs in elite?
Dude, I was browsing high, low, dude. I was the top MMR players, but dude, we got 4 tier min players in elite, dude. We could sign a tier max premier player. We have so much MMR cap, bro. Obviously we can't because it's elite, but dude, I'm like, what are we doing, bro? I was so down bad. I was looking at recruit players. I'm like, let's pick somebody up, bro.
Oh, chill.
I'm like, I don't even care. I'm like, let's pick up a recruit guy. Let's go. Let's run at them. And then I looked. There's no recruit subs. I'm like, yo. So we found my goat, my carry, psychotic, the opper that was cut from Hell, right? Yeah, Hell.
Yeah, it was hell.
He was cut from Hell during that whole house trade stuff, and yeah, that's my goat. Plus rep. Sign that, man. So yeah,
Someone should.
That was sick. It actually turned out in that game, I was the contender player that we signed.
For sure. You could tell.
They actually, with my performance, they're actually cutting me to keep psychotic. I heard he could IGL too.
He does it all. He supports entries.
He does it all. He's a man of the
IGLs,
people.
ops.
Support entry, do all of it. Yeah.
Maybe you could ask the AVI recruit team. They had a couple free agents carry them in the last game.
What's the AVI recruit team did?
Yeah.
Are they like? So whatever happened with all of that?
Are we allowed to talk about that, or?
Oh, let me think.
Are we not?
All I'm gonna say is they were the free agents they got popped off. They did lose to Sav. Sav sweep, baby. Sav on top.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think we can leave it at there's some drama. I don't think we have to specify
Yeah,
too
we'll
much. There were,
just leave it.
Yeah, some altercations in the chat that happened.
Yeah.
Just check out the weekly recruit for some like high tier journalism on it.
Yeah,
It's,
honestly, that's
really
probably
good-
the best.
really good
answer.
listen.
I don't really
Really
think
good
that
listen.
we really even need to cover it because it has been already talked about pretty extensively and I think pretty respectfully. So shout out to the weekly recruit, like you said, if you want to go learn more about that and what happened. But yeah. I am trying to see if I can pull up the power rankings or the standings. Maybe power rankings. We'll see.
I
Standings
think
for what,
Dives
dude?
worked on power rankings. They do exist now somewhere.
Exactly. And I want them. I want to steal them.
Do you want me
If
What
you can
tier are
help
you
me,
pulling up?
yes.
to?
Prospect to begin with, I'm assuming, since we're here.
Yeah,
And
that's
we'll have
fine.
to say goodbye to our lovely Dirt Schlurpy not too long from now.
Yeah, I mean, just for now until he gets the. You said you're pulling up the power rankings.
I'm trying to. I have the
Okay.
standings right here. The prospect ones are um, a little scuffed.
Yeah.
There was some people spreading
Oh,
misinformation in the prospect
I
chat.
got it. It's in
Never
stats
do that.
updates. Click the link. New stat spreadsheet.
Stats updates.
Bottom tab RWOA. And it has all the tiers for you color coded.
This is power rankings?
I think so.
No, this is just like round win.
This is
Like
Dives
Every-
power rankings.
yeah. I think this is just based off stats still, isn't it?
Obviously the most important power rankings. Yeah,
Strength
it's still
is-
something that we could definitely look at. Let me pull up though to begin with the
Oh, look at yeah, because it has strength of schedule and round winning percentage as well. And I think it's in order, or is it? What is the official CSC one?
what do you mean?
I'm comparing it. So
Dude,
no, that's different. His is different. Like it has, for instance, like in contender Storm is actually above Cheetah's on our sheet, his sheet,
Oh, okay.
based off his
Yeah, so
calculation.
here's the standings. The current standings, again, this isn't the most updated one for Prospect because the tier line got moved because there were some people spreading misinformation in the Prospect chat. Poor Spidey had to go and update the graphic. Something that was wrong. I think there was also a score that was wrong too, so hopefully that's updated on here. But it has been talked about. There are only 4 teams not making it into playoffs, so that line there is the only issue with this one. But otherwise, this is and then also the ACA game hasn't been played as well, so they're currently at the top with only 4 wins, 0 losses. But yeah,
So just to confirm, there are 14 teams making the playoffs and 4 not making it.
yes, out of the 18 teams in total, that is what I have been told, allegedly.
Yeah, I was reading that chat, and there was like 3 people just arguing about different things, and things kept changing, and didn't know who to believe.
Yeah, exactly.
You
dude, one
believe the
thing
chat.
I find it interesting because like, well, I don't find it interesting, but it's kind of like the argument of like the whole the whole keeper arguments, right? And like me personally, like I said, I don't really know a ton about Prospect, but I know names, right? Because I'm as active as I am in CSC. Like I've talked to a lot of people and I've known a lot of people, whether it be just by their name or whatever. And I'm looking at like the top teams, and you have AVI up there, right? Well, who's on that team? Hawkish, Orca, Tiny Elephant, 3 returning players that have been around for a while, which I believe 2 of them, Hawkish and Tiny Elephant, were in contender last season, so they fell. They're doing well, though, in Prospect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at, what was the other one? Oh, the ATL team, another top team. Clueless, Agent Shield, Jawa. Like there's multiple people in there as well that have been around for at least long enough that I've known who they are in the 3 seasons I've played. Same with I think even academics too. Yeah, like Kaiser, Box, like multiple names on like all of these teams that like it's kind of the argument of like, okay, well what do you put the value in? You know, I mean, your top teams right now are the teams with the returning players. So it's kind of like to me, I feel like there is still a lot of emphasis on like the when you look at a tier like that, you know what I mean? In terms of the value that you get out of a returning player, that's a known commodity. You know what they're gonna do. At least most times, right? Obviously, there's differences and changes between season to season, but I think that's interesting to see.
Yeah, last season it was difficult for us. We went like 3-7. We had Led who hadn't played for a season or 2, and then 4 first timers. So for us to like learn how to play Team CS, just we couldn't get it done fast enough, and it was really difficult to
Yeah.
compete with the teams that had returning players and knew what they were doing.
I was gonna say that's another big thing too, is not even like, and I mean this respectfully, but like not even a returning player that's like good, but even a returning player that understands the concept of playing Team CS and okay, we lost the site, let's wait to retake it together, right? Versus you get those like solo queue mentalities of like new players that come into the league that have never played Team CS before in any extent. And well, then you're trying to break those like solo queue, those pug habits of like, well, okay, I'm just gonna run into the site and try to retake it by myself. When you know what I mean, then you get those returning players. Oh, they've played 3 seasons of CSC. They have that kind of already ingrained in their brain. At least most of them will. You know, of like, okay, I'll wait. You know, let's 4v3 retake instead of making my team try to 3v3 retake because of that. You know, so I think these RWOA like totals too. I was looking at some of these last night, like for Elite specifically, but like looking at this prospect one right now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so the RWOA is the relative win rate over average, which I think I was talking to Icy about this. I think it was last night. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ask Dives what he means." I was like, "It's all." He literally wrote out a really nice explanation of it. He's like, "Yeah, but I didn't want to read all that." So I think for all the people that want to know what that means but don't know what it means, the layman term that I came up with is it's just math, right? It's just calculating a bunch of different stats and basically mathing, all the score lines and whatnot. And
It's basically, doesn't it not mean like you're basically on average you're winning the rounds you're supposed to be winning?
yeah,
Essentially, like
pretty much.
that means AVI right now is on 45% of their total rounds. The rounds that they should be winning, they're winning.
Mm-hmm.
Along the lines of that, right? Which is like insane. That I mean, their CT is 83, almost 84%. Oh, yo,
Yeah, they're
you kidding
doing
me?
insane on CT side. I mean, that's one of the teams that I had initially looked at, and I was like, this team looks very
I mean,
scary.
like I said, they have what 2 contender players in Hawkish and Tiny Elephant who came down, right? Like whether
And
they
then,
got dropped. I'm
and then
assuming 'cause of
stats
their
wise, even
performance.
their new pickup, their DE that they
Mhm.
grabbed, Nia, is going insane. So
Yeah, so like it's kind of one of those teams where you get that combination of you have the 3 returning players in Tiny Elephant, Hawkish, and Orca, so you get that like the structure of the team, and then you get that one like good pickup in the draft, and boom, you're a top team, you know? So
for sure.
crazy.
But then, yeah, strength of schedules wise, right? The higher the percentage, the harder the strength of schedule. I think Spectral Sentries is.
The Gunky Goons have the hardest one so far.
Oh yeah, the Gunky Goons
54%.
followed by Spectral Sentries.
See, and that's crazy. That AVI has one of the hardest ones too, and they're still performing as well as they are. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting to see. I mean, you can look too at like some of the bottom teams that do have those tougher ones, like you said, the Spectral Sentries, the Alchemists, like HG, some of those other teams that are in the white and the red shades, that have had the tougher stretches. That it'd be cool to see them now. Okay, if they get the better, the green, like strength of schedule towards the end of the season here, it'd be cool to see some of them make those moves and then, jump the leaderboards.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say AVI had one of the hardest schedules?
Yeah,
Is that
they have
just
50,
I'm looking at it.
52.
Doesn't seem.
Even
Seems like they
even
played
with their
Nan,
wins, yeah.
Cow, Worms, AP, and.
But well, based off of
Blue
just like
Tunnels.
statistically, I don't know what they're basing this,
Yeah.
basing the statistics off of. It's
It's-
just what it says, but I don't know.
It's because UPS is 3-2, Cow is 3-2. It's based
Yeah,
off their
basically-
wins.
Yeah,
So
basically every team that they've beat has gone and turned around and is still holding a good standing in the overall
Right.
standings. And so all these pretty good teams like UPS, for example, have only really lost to AVI, and so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's where the
not that common. I think that you see that one of the top teams having a red number like that, the 52.12%. Beating
Unless they're
teams that are
just
then turning around and like
dominating
beating
active.
all the other teams as well. But yeah, no, that's big kudos to them.
Yeah.
They are not
Great job
playing
for them, I
easy
know.
opponents and they're still winning.
We'll see. Match day 12 facing us.
Look out, Sav is up and up. But
Don't want
yeah,
to put too much of a target on our back.
let me see if I can now pull up the predictions. Have you participated in that at all?
Yeah, I'm one of the worst predictors, so.
don't worry, we don't keep stats. Bort is working on it though.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually, we'll be back with stats.
I just know Kono's chosen against us, I think, in 4 out of the 5 games. We got to talk about that.
Dude, I could pull up. Okay, some days I'm hitting like 66, 70% accuracy in a single tier, and then other days it's sub 30 and it's not looking very good. So
Yeah.
I would honestly be better off just flipping a coin for the majority of them. But I mean that's just
It's not a
the
bad
lowest
idea
I've
though.
seen.
You might hit.
Yeah, maybe next season I'll have to do my predictions and then do a separate set, which is just a coin flip every time and see who wins my coin or my actual brain. But these are, we'll see how well this like turns out on stream and everything. But these are the ones that you had posted, JPC, of the basically 30 responses to, lots of feedback, lots of people engaging in the predictions, and
That's cool.
you know what I guess the community thought. So between Blue Sentinels and Cardinals, Blue Sentinels, that's Abysswalkers.
Yes. So after this week, I had already gotten really all in and made like 3 days in a row with a like their names, but now it'll be acronyms from here on out. So HE
Okay.
hell, yeah. So it'll be
just so
easier.
it can be easier to tell.
So I think I one of the AP guys suggested, it, and I was like, oh my god, it's a good idea, and it saves you like a crap ton of typing.
Yeah, that too. I like the team names and everything, and I've gotten a bit more used to it, but I do know that it's just a very common sentiment that most people just refer to the team as the franchise tag or name. So, but yeah, Cardinals honestly not as favored to win as I had thought, but I'm not sure if you can even help us, JPC, on potentially looking at upsets or.
The only upset in prospect was the Spectral Sentries beating UPS.
Where's that one at?
Should be the fourth one down from the top, maybe.
Oh my goodness, a 90% vote for UPS.
Are you kidding me right now?
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like, let me double check. But yeah, I think I remember seeing that one and going, oh.
I'm gonna have to have a talk with my prospect team.
What happened
the
there?
hell?
Did
Yeah, I don't. That must have been why they were asking me for a demo review the other night. Yeah. I said, what?
Yeah, Sock,
Sock.
Sky RL, and Colty are the only ones that actually picked correctly for that.
Really?
Yes.
What can I say? Sock's a genius.
Oh, cause that was the DB game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's funny. That's the game I demo reviewed.
They're like, yo, we just got
alright, yeah.
smacked. We need help,
I
please.
recognize you because I recognize Krink and Sky, Riz, Brotobag, and Shabababa Woo Woo, or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah,
Yep.
someone please tell me how to say that. So that one, that one went into a double OT.
Oh no.
Yeah. That was it was a really close one. I remember watching it. It was a super close game though. Like when I was watching it with him, it was super close.
What do you think happened? I mean, what was your conclusion?
He demo reviewed it. He knows.
Yeah, I mean, from watching it, it was like honestly, they threw the game based off of their like eco management. 100%. Like they had the worst part about it was they had an 8-1 lead on T-side Ancient.
Yeah,
UPS
I see that.
They had an 8-1 lead, and they basically got stuck in this cycle where they felt like they had to force on the last 3 rounds because they couldn't. I swear, in all my days, I got almost like $2,500 of CS. How do you win 8-1 rounds on T side and you have no money? 0. I'm not even kidding you. 6 rounds straight, all 5 of the T's died. I'm like, how is this even possible? And so, yeah, they all died and their economy was trash. So they forced the last 3 rounds because they kept getting reset. Then they lost the last 3, and then they trolled their first like 6 CT side rounds because of their eco.
Yeah. No, they won. No, they won pistol and the round after. They were up 10-4.
The first like actual like gun rounds is what I'm talking about. They had a huge lead in their first like actual gun rounds of CT. They threw the hell out of them because they won the pistol, then they won the eco, like the other team's eco, and then from that point on, they tried to reinvest into the round because they had a guy die to the Glocks. They screwed their eco because they invested like too much money into util and rebuying in, and then they lost that round. And so then they were on like 3 players were on doubles. They doubled and forced, and it just went downhill from there. And then they just lost complete momentum because the other team won so many rounds. So
yeah, I mean, big for Deadbeats for picking up their second one of the season. I know that was a team that I think I had kept betting on because of some of the names. And Wait. I wonder. Okay, I was checking. I know Riz was a recent pickup. Riz was someone that we were really interested in over at Big Slime, and I saw some talks. A really good prospect player who had a vacation or a business trip. Don't exactly remember, but basically was out of the country for a bit, and then ended up coming back somewhat early. Ended up re-signing with Deadbeats, the team that had initially drafted him. And so I know that when he first came back, they actually got to play. It looks like. Oh, okay. So no, he's been playing with them for a while, since match day 1. But yeah.
They beat AP. Lost to the Watchers.
So yeah, no, I've basically been pretty hype about this team since the beginning, and I'm not sure. Maybe potentially a good interview opportunity to kind of see if something's maybe turned around and clicked. If that was just like a big revenge match, potentially even for them. Not entirely sure, but something happened to spark this insane overtime comeback, especially from like an 8-1 deficit. Like that alone just takes a lot of willpower to tell your team we can still win this type of thing.
Yeah.
I think there's been a couple comebacks. I think the UPS Ronin game, I think that one was out of control too. It was like it was 9-3 at the half. I think Ronin were up. UPS stages a comeback and it forces it to overtime. And then, looks like maybe a single overtime game, down 9-3. There's been a lot of comebacks this season, I think, in Prospect. As my IGL Ben always says, everybody's gangsta until they have to play CT.
So real. So real. Hey, unless you're AVI. Unless you're
Truth.
AVI.
Truth.
At the moment, unless you're AVI, everybody else is.
But yeah, it actually looks like the majority of the matches were pretty even, I'd say. There weren't too many that were hard.
Could you pull up the Sav Cow game? Because I know we were 1-3 and they were 3-1, so I'm be surprised if they weren't heavily favored.
At least not necessarily above like 70%, other than I guess the Frog game. CCA, Tridents. Where's Frog? Or which one? Cow.
Tactical toe. No.
Cow Sav.
I'm blind.
Oh, that's the second one from the top. It's Brisket Bombers versus one down. Yep. There you go. Nope.
Huh? These are the same.
Did I troll?
Maybe.
Wait, they are the same.
Wait, did I troll? Oh, wait, hang on.
Sav
Wait,
bias.
hang on.
What is this,
Wait.
man?
Hey,
You invite
not
me
my
out
fault
and
for
insult my
once.
franchise?
Hey,
What is this?
I'm just saying, I put those out 5 days ago and no one noticed. That's not my fault. That's not on me. Hang on, I can get it up.
Anti-Sav bias is crazy. Leadbone takes over and what happens?
Yeah. I'm just happy it's not my fault for once.
No, it's definitely my fault. So that's on you though. You didn't notice. I'm sorry. Where? Am I blind? Where is Prospect? Oh, here it is. Jesus. All right. Yeah, I guess I just copied it, the first one twice. Okay, I'm just gonna send it. Do you want me to DM it to you?
You can just.
Actually, I'll put it in the sheet. I'll put it in the sheet. Hang on. I'll just put it in the sheet.
We got a live update, live feed of the.
First thing I want it in the notices, ping out all we made of
it. You want it? Yeah. I'll ping it. Hang on.
Yeah.
For now, I'll go back to the.
Swift will not be happy with me, but I'll do it, and I'll blame it on you. I will get in trouble. There you go. Look, live update.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, I mean, it is still relatively early, too. There are so many teams in Prospect, too, man. That's crazy.
It's still not enough. Yeah.
So, yeah,
70-30
split.
Dude, there. Yeah.
Yeah. Not sure if they're going to add more franchises next season, but there's definitely got to be something.
They better not.
I see Midas.
Hey man, there's a ton of free agents. It's This is a for fun league. We gotta have more people playing. This is maybe bumping down to recruit, maybe bumping up to attendee, but we gotta get more people playing.
Shift the tiers out. Shift the tiers out. Shift the tiers out. Even out the tiers. Bing bang boom.
I'm seeing my boy Synced in chat right now. He's a free agent. He got kind of screwed over by the prospect situation. So we got to get them on teams. They're good enough.
We just need to shift the tier lines, the MMRs. We need to bump some people down to recruit, bump some people up to contender.
Put some people down to recruit so we have enough to give me a recruit team.
No.
Yes.
Don't do that.
I need a recruit team. I want to have a recruit team.
They're a lot of fun. Demo reviewing their games with them is it's wild.
I think it's kind of like Higo said,
never even considered.
They have passion, you know? They have that passion and the drive within the CSC community that a lot of like the Prim or Elite or even sometimes Chally teams lack.
Yeah, I know last season I work night shifts, so I'm up during the early morning. Cayman Ryder, the one of the recruit boys, for the championship, he got on at 5 a.m. and me and him had discussions for multiple hours just until 10 o'clock, just solely based on CT side Mirage, which ended up winning them the championship. So, I mean, it paid off, but they are grinders down there.
Exactly. But yeah, we're kind of rounding out towards the end of the first half of the podcast. So I guess, is there any other last things that we want to talk about, I guess, prospect related or even, prediction stuff before we take a short break and then go into the rest of the tiers and the rest of the predictions?
I'm good.
And if nothing else, then I do have to ask you, Dirt, the one question that all of us are asking: what even is a caracal?
It's a little like it's a cat typed animal, feline animal, based in Africa. Specifically, I know it's in South Africa. I think they're like little Weasley little things. They're kind of.
How do you say it?
I was taught caracal.
Caracal. So you're like caracals?
I have a South African friend, and he says like raccoon type deals that no one likes them, but no one. Andy said buys in CSC. It's apparent. That's
hey, yo, I'm with them. Yo, we don't like those caracal fellas. Oh, get them out of here.
All right, Diego. Just calm down. Playing a real tier like prospect, okay?
Damn.
But yeah,
just yapping.
Dude, I'd love to play in prospect. I think that'd be so fun.
Oh, hear me out. Okay, I'm gonna do this live pitch on air because I don't know. I just hate making SSD threads. I was talking to Cloud Zeno about this actually. This crazy idea that I had. What if we had a franchise, like a how would you even describe it? Like
the free agent franchise?
No. A small tournament where you basically, it was like franchises versus franchises, and so you would only be able to have 2 people max from a tier play on a team, and you would still have like a max cap, so everyone was still their same MMR, but basically you could have like 2 elite players, maybe a contender, recruit, and a prospect player all on one team and represent UPS.
Like a mixed bag.
Yeah. And then they play against Sav, who maybe has like one elite player, 3 Chally players, recruit, and a prospect. Right? It's like based off of availability and whatnot, and like over some extra games over the weekend or something like that. Basically, a small
like a show match
type of thing, whether off season or.
That sounds like a good off season thing, honestly, because everyone has the time.
So events. Yeah. Get on that, because I don't know.
I like that.
Call the CSC World Cup.
They mentioned something about that. I don't remember who it was. Crazy or somebody.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Made like
if there was already an idea for something like that.
Something similar where it was like you have a cap. You can't pick more than like 2 people or something from you know what I mean. But if you take a premier player, okay, then you need to have 2 recruits, a prospect, and like 1 Chally or whatever to obviously balance out and make it fair, and as well as promote everybody to play, where it's not just a bunch of elite Chally and premier players playing. You get all the tiers involved.
Mm-hmm. You like lock the I just like threw a couple rules together in my head. I'm like, this seems like it could potentially work out. I don't know. It just seemed like fun because it's I'd love to just see more franchise. It also just like for people who are looking for more CSC, I guess, games outside of just the Tuesday Thursday.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, I'll on that note, I guess we can go ahead and go over to a short break while we set the cameras back up, say bye-bye to our lovely guest, Dirt Schlurpy, and
Thanks for having me on, guys.
yeah, thank you so much for coming, hanging out. But we will be back in about 5 or so minutes, so stay tuned.
Bye-bye.
See, that wasn't that
Hello.
long. Short little break. We are back and we are ready to talk about Recruit, Contender, Challenger, Elite, and Premier. In that order.
Yes.
So, yeah.
In that order.
We are going to go from bottom to top. Kind of keep it light, keep it quick. I will pull up some of the standings and we'll use our lovely guest JPC's predictions and analysis and whatnot to kind of go over some of the big upset games and focus a little bit on there. So, but yeah, what's poppin' in Recruit?
So the biggest thing and the first thing I noticed, just based off of standings that I have pulled up, is the First Sun, which is the Abyss Walkers' new expansion franchise, is in first place of Recruit right now with a 5-0 record, which is super cool to see. That because I feel like typically, like, new franchises struggle usually, especially their very first season while they're trying to like get a foothold into, you know, CSC. And sometimes it's not even a new franchise struggling, but even like new GMs I've seen struggle, right? Where like an old group leaves a franchise and then a new like GM and AGMs take over and they struggle to kind of, you know, get that foothold into CSC per se, because they don't really have that, you know, that rep with other people unless they've been around long enough that people know them. So like it's kind of cool to see that they're doing as well as they are. That's also that team with Shane 216, who's currently the #1 rated player in Recruit. So it's kind of, I believe he's brand new as well, right, Shane? I think he was a DE this season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So that was a good pickup in the draft. But it's definitely it's cool to see the newer franchise kind of popping off early on in the season so far.
For sure.
4-1. So like you got OS Sav again, like I mentioned when Dirt was here, but like Sav's doing really well. AVI again, another team that's doing very well in the lower tiers from the looks of it in terms of being a top team. And then it's kind of the same thing too with like Prospect, where you kind of get that middle bunch of like 6 teams that are all like 2-3, 3-2, where they're all like very interchangeable in terms of like actually power ranking them. I don't know how they go about power ranking them and like the people in the the tier, just because like they're all very interchangeable to me. But
yeah. Okay, so let's see. It'd be kind of cool if I could pull up, I guess, the power rankings that the Weekly Recruit had done. For now, I mean, we do have the standings at least, and the ones on the CSC website. I know that out of the matches that happened, match day 5, were there any big upsets, JPC?
There was no upsets. Actually, wait, no. There was one in Recruit. I believe the Rift Riders upset the Accolades.
Yeah, and I had predicted that one. Okay, that's why.
Yes, they did. It was like a 35% to a 64, and and like with how many votes, I would kind of classify that as an upset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was no real big.
Yeah, and
that was DB versus Hell, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
DB versus
Yeah,
Hell, and that was a pretty one-sided game too, with scoreline being 13-4.
Yeah, wow.
Especially because of the scoreline. I'm gonna do a full write-up tonight after the Prospect game is done, probably tomorrow, and then I'm gonna put the pick'ems up tonight for the rest of the week.
But I know one thing that was already talked about on the Weekly Recruit was the Tez signing that they had. Tez is someone that I'm actually familiar with, who's got a bit of a shaky schedule at the moment, and was, I'm pretty sure, one of the PFA to FA conversions that happened, but a really good player. Honestly, very surprised to see them in Recruit, as I'm pretty sure season 11 was my first interaction.
Contender.
They were, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure that's going to work out very well for them. You know, come playoff time and whatnot.
Monty was also another person picked up by Wet. They cut Synthronics and picked up Monty. That was the 22nd. So that was a couple days ago. But other than that, I think that was pretty much all the transactions for Recruit, at least that I see, that aren't just like the temporary ones.
Wait, what happened? Is Deity new as well? No, not Deity.
Oh.
Deity?
On what team?
From what? I only ask because I'm looking at the Wet profile pictures right now, and Monty, I guess, hasn't gotten his Wet signature quite yet from Spidey, so he made a MS Paint version of it, which is really funny looking.
I see that. I see that now. Yeah, so I wonder if they both like made them to match each other instead of having like the fancy nice ones as Spidey makes for everybody. It's kind of funny.
I don't know, but it's it's very cute.
Yeah, I don't know. Recruits, I feel like recruit is such a like tough spot though, because I think recruits in the same position that well, I mean, I guess I shouldn't even say just recruit. I feel like all of them are in the same kind of like
Oh, here's
this point in
someone
the season.
you can also talk about, Kigo. Maybe UPS recruit. They picked up Nace in Canada Dry, which I know. I think
Oh
talking
yeah,
about a
I forgot
specific,
about that.
yeah, Cloud. He was probably more involved, I guess, in that than maybe you were. But
Yeah, so I know they made the changes. I believe it was just they were in like a I don't want to say it, not like they were doing horrible, but I believe they started the season. Let me pull up their page, but I think they started the season 03 or maybe it was 1-2. Let me look. Yeah, they started 02 and then they won one, lost one, so they technically started season 1-3. And I think it was something along the lines of Nace. The pickup with Nace was more just I believe he was a very, from what I heard, was a very strong like firepower ad, where we felt like the team in some spots in some scenarios was lacking firepower, and they wanted just another guy that they could pick up to just shoot.
well, I'm pretty sure
Because
Nace is, unless someone else. I don't know who was calling before.
Mick Wicks, the IGL, he's like a very good IGL too for recruit.
Is he still calling? Do you know? Because I know Nace
Yes,
was an
he's still
IGL.
calling.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they have Nace and they're just letting him rifle. He just wanted to be picked up, I think, to just run around and shoot.
Hey, good for him, and it looks like he's doing well at that. You know, with topping the scoreboard for match day
Yeah.
2, and holding.
Yeah, and
holding
then
out.
Canada Dry, I believe, was a. I know the whole situation with that, like the pick up and drop. I don't even remember who they cut. I think it was Ambulance that they cut for him. I think it was some along the lines of it was a friend of Mick. It was kind of like a friend, but somebody he believed in very strongly. Could be an
Mhm.
improvement to the team. And I think it was one of those situations where we put the trust into the player, and you know what I mean. If you're that confident, we'll let you have it, and make it happen, kind of deal, right? Like
Yeah. Hey, I mean,
which
if it works, it works, right?
which so far it did. They won against ATL with him, I believe, 13-10. So I mean, we'll see how it goes the rest of the season. It was kind of one of those moves where they needed to make something happen. So
Yeah. I think all the majority of the games though did kind of go, I guess, how people were expecting in Recruit. Both.
The only other one was AVI beating UPS. Earlier on, sorry, UPS beating AVI. It was a
in recruit,
ATL
yes.
or
ATL,
AVI.
sorry.
Which one?
No, it's AVI beating Recruit AVI. No, UPS beating AVI. Yeah, it was percentage.
On match day 5.
in recruit, yeah, match day 5, UPS played ATL.
Wait, what?
Match day 6, UPS plays AVI. So this next Tuesday.
What?
That
Oh, did
one.
I mess up
Okay.
again? Wait a
Probably
minute.
that one does make sense. Yeah, it more than likely was the ATL was favored, especially because ATL just came off of their win against Sav.
Oh,
Sav being the
Harpies is.
Atlantis.
Oh my God, yeah. Never mind. I'm Harpies. What am I doing? I had bird in my head. My
Yeah.
bad.
You're
And
good.
Please be in chat.
Oh yeah. See, but once you fix them all and you get the AVI, you know what I mean? You change from the team names to that.
Yeah,
Hey,
you see exactly. You see what I'm
good to
saying?
go.
See, next
Oh, good to
next,
go.
next week we're not having this problem. My brain hurts. I'm sorry.
Oh, also, how hard is it for you to put the team records in?
I would have to do it. So what I do is the fastest way is I go to this, like the match page and I just go in order and I put them in the form.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be hard. I'd have to do it at home with 3 monitors, so I didn't have to like keep clicking over and over. I could
Yeah.
do it. I've done it before 1 week.
Yeah,
But I was
saw you
only
did it
doing
one time
contender.
for contender, and
Yeah, because I was doing it only for them.
I had
and
some
then
people tell me that it was a lot easier to do it when some people just like, yeah, I did it when there was a score things, but I never finished filling it out or whatever when there wasn't. So I'm not sure if that's something that might be able to be scripted, even like if board is able to help out with that.
it's so the way I do it is I do it in Google Forms. I can't script that in. I do that part manually. It's not that hard, honestly.
Oh,
It wouldn't be that
yeah,
bad.
I see because you have to type it in. It's not actually a spreadsheet.
The spread, yeah, like it'd probably take me an extra 5-10 minutes. I'll do that because now I only have to type 3 letters instead of the whole name. It goes a lot faster.
That's true too.
Yeah. I think looking at recruit too. Like I'm just looking. I have that like round win on average total thing pulled up, and it's cool to see like some of these teams that have like crazy potential. Like if they can fix some small errors, just based on like for example, I'm looking at like Frog right now, right? And they're like one of the middle of the pack teams at 2 and 3. They have a 55% CT like round win on average, and then they have a -4% on T side. Where it's like now if they could just bump that up, like even to like an average of like just positive, like it doesn't have to be great, but just like 20% or 15%, somewhere in the positives, they could instantly vault themselves up. Like if they could fix their T side problems. Granted, they have had one of the tougher like starts so far, but that would be crazy, right? Because like you see the
what's their
potential.
strength of schedule compared to everyone else?
I was gonna say their strength of schedule is like 53%, and like as of right now, that's like I think the third hardest,
Let's say it's got
maybe third or
I
fourth
kind of
hardest.
figured it had to be somewhere up there because
So
currently their losses
it
are
could,
against ATL,
yeah,
ABI, and Abyss Walkers. So
yeah. So it could be kind of one of those concepts too, where like their T side struggles are showing because they're playing against their other teams, um, that are like the other good CT teams. Which then obviously if you're playing against a team that's really good at CT, your T side's going to struggle and it's going to be hard to get good, especially if it's already struggling and then you put it against a really good team. It's like impossible to try to actually learn from it or get better on it.
yeah, but yeah, I think that also ATL. I didn't realize ATL had also beaten Frog. Looking at can you tell me what their strength of schedule is?
You're talking about ATL?
Yeah, the Harpies.
ATL, theirs is 45%, so theirs is currently the easiest.
Really?
They have the easiest schedule so far in
That is
recruit, like
because they have. I mean, they have really close wins against UPS or Frog and Sav, and then lost to UPS. And so, I guess with UPS having lost the first and second match day, right? Although I think on paper now they're probably a much better team than they were before. That's not accounted for those transactions and that strength of schedule, and then also they lost to Riff Raiders, one of the first upsets that happened match day 2, which I had predicted.
Yeah,
as well as their win against Cal. So I guess it kind of makes sense. ATL, I guess a bit all over the place. Winning some insane matchups like the Sav one that I think was a really big upset from match day 4, and then turning around and not having the greatest results in some of their other matches that I think were expected to go their way.
To clarify, by the way, Dives defines strength of schedule as at like their actual win rate as of now, excluding the match that they played against the team. Like against you, he said apparently. So it's not like a projection; it's like as current. So they have played. Technically, to me, that means Hellas has played the weakest teams so far.
Yeah, because it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, I had that right. I think.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was actually just about to ask him until I read that. Like, is it projected for like the future, or is it teams you've played so far?
I was gonna say I think it's just so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it is. You confirmed. Okay, that's good to know.
So
then that'll update. So that'll update over the season. Then, like as they play teams, it'll put it in and it'll be like, okay, now this team got way harder because they just played 2 top teams.
I'd be interested to see what it would look like for the whole thing, because even if it was for the entire season, it would still get updated as teams, won
get
and
better
lost
or
matches.
do worse. Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden, certain teams are determined better than
not to go away from like the team aspect, because we've been mainly just talking about teams, but just to dive into some of like the individuals, right? Like we talked about Tez and whatnot. There was a couple individuals too that kind of like I haven't looked at recruit much in terms of like the stats and whatnot, and like players individual stats. Yo, this guy Enders has a 1.4. Yo, recruit, what are we doing? Yo, we're letting Enders just run us over. What is this? So that's kind of cool, right? Like, just in terms of like, I know Enders somewhat, right? I've interacted with him a couple times, and I think it's cool to see like, I remember not playing because I haven't been in recruit combines, but I remember chilling with Enders one night in a VC his first season when he was playing combines, and how, oh, I'm so bad, I'm trash, I'll be lucky to even be on a team, blah blah blah, whatever, right? And I think last season he did okay. Like he wasn't the best, but he wasn't the worst, right? Where like it's cool to see now this season like he's actually popping off, and like that's over the course of 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's played all 5 games, so He's number 1 in aces, number 1 in kills. My guy Enders is number 1 in kills in recruit. So it's cool to kind of see like some of these players over the time evolve, you know. Dewey Fan, a former UPS player on Frogs, got a 1.2. He's doing really well. Canada Dry, granted he's only got the one game, or 2 games I believe, but he's done well so far.
Yeah, I just looked. I'd never played against him. Enders. No, I did play with Enders. I played 1 game with him, and we got absolutely clapped on Anubis in recruit.
in like a combine, you're saying?
Yeah, so when I started, I started in recruit because I downloaded Faceit that day, so my MMR was low, and I played 6 combines in recruit, and I dropped a 30 or a 40 bomb and almost a 30 bomb, and I got double promoted to contender that night.
Holy.
Yeah, but I did play a game with Enders. I remember him being nice, I think, because we were losing, and we probably I don't remember it going poorly. So
Actually,
Actually,
another thing.
oh yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
And then the game I dropped 40 in, he was actually my teammate. We won 16-12 on an ancient.
I'm looking at too, like, not to I don't know what the word is, not to like single anybody out, but like I'm looking at some of the bottom teams in terms of like you got AP who's 0-5, you got Cow, DRG, DB that are kind of those bottom, 4 UPS. I mean, those bottom 2 are like 2 and 3, so it's kind of like whatever because we're so early on, right? But I'm just looking, and out of curiosity, I was just looking at the rankings or like the player individual stats. And so like DB, you have like 2 players with like a 0.8 rating. DRG, you have 2 players with a 0.7 rating. So it'll be interesting to see if some of these teams do end up making a change, or if it's simply just more of like players struggling. You know what I mean? Like if they're just having a rough patch, and they'll figure it out kind of as they go, or if they're just gonna make a change, kind of like what we said with Prospect. There were multiple teams at this point in the season now where you either kind of like die on the hill that this team will come around, they will get better, right? Or you make the change now, because especially in recruit, there really aren't that many. What is it called? FAs. So like I know that was the other reason too, with like to go back on like the UPS pickups of Nace and Canada Dry. It was kind of one of those things where everybody was like, well, this is kind of early on, but it's like you have to make the changes early on, especially when there's what is there 7 FAs in recruit. It's like there's not many people to choose from. So if you wait too long and those people get picked up, then you're basically just sitting there, crossing your fingers, hoping that somebody else cuts somebody that you have value in. So I think it'd be interesting to see if any of these other teams do try to make a shakeup, or if they just we'll just roll it with who we got and see how it goes.
One team that I do kind of want to bring a little bit of attention to is the Hell Recruit team, which I'll give you guys some time to pull up. But this is a team that I guess hasn't seen quite as much success. I mean, their games just in general are all over the place, and in my opinion, it's like you look at the score lines, and even, I mean, they're just their last 3 games. They had a loss against Rift Raiders, who haven't had the best of results so far yet, but I mean, I've already talked to them a lot. A very one-sided loss, 4-13, and then their win right before that was against Cow, which was a 13-1 game. They played against DRG before that, 13-6. Right, so these would all be classified as blowouts, right?
Yeah.
I know that's a new stat thing that you're working on, JPC.
Oh yeah, I do. I have. Do you want? You can show my custom contender stats. I don't mind leaking. I do custom contender stats because I'm a nerd. So yeah, when we get to them, yeah, I have I classify any win over 6 rounds as a complete blowout.
And so yeah, just multiple blowouts, both for and against them, and then at the same time all their players are near 1 if not higher ratings. The lowest rated player is a 0.94. They have 3 people above a 1.0,
which isn't even bad either.
What maps have they played though? Ancient are they ancient merchants?
Ancient
no,
twice, Anubis twice, and Inferno once. The other thing too that I think is crazy is they played that Anubis game against DB. There was only 2 T-side rounds won. There were 2. If this graphic on Analytical is right, there were, which Anubis is a very T-sided map, very T-sided. It's the most T-sided in the pool right now. There was only 2 T-side rounds won, and the rest were all CT, which is just crazy to me.
Hey, maybe you should demo review with them. Let them know. Let them demo review. Go help them out.
Digital, hey, hit me up. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think it's crazy.
That's actually crazy. What
Like you said,
happened?
13-1, 13-4, like back to back. Which I mean, that goes to show too the differences between the two teams. Well, actually, I was
don't
gonna say
even
Cal
know,
and
'cause
DB are both like bottom
all
teams.
three of these teams, I'm pretty sure if you look at like just the overall standings, right? Like
Statistically wise, yeah, actually, all three of them are in the bottom half. Statistically,
so it's a very
huh?
interesting situation I think to be in. And personally, looking at the players, I've heard lots of things. I've seen Brass Biscuit talk on the weekly recruit, and heard high praises of him. Doxic as well, and then even Sapphire I think is a CSC staple in like the Tin Mans at least,
Yeah,
and is really
yeah.
well known.
I think I've
higher
given
on
her
the
up back
hopper.
like at least 10 times. I
Yeah.
swear. It was
And
outgoing joke for like 2 days. I'd save it for her and give it back because I'd stay alive.
I mean, but she has good rating, good numbers with the op. I think personally, at least watching Sapphire play throughout last season and this season in recruit, has been one of the players that has just not seen on that Cal roster beforehand, who I think was the last place standings or second to last. Not seeing very much success at all. It's a unfortunate place to be in, and it's something that maybe we'll try to look a little bit more into, because I would love to know more about maybe what's going on behind the scenes that could be causing something like this. So
How many make it now? Playoffs for them?
should be 4, or
Should be.
4 are the teams don't make
Or
it.
don't make it. Yeah.
So you're taking top 10? Okay.
Top 10, yeah.
Hmm.
How's that?
Do you have anything else on Recruit Kono? Because otherwise, that
I'm-
was pretty much.
I'm ready to
it
hop
for me.
over.
Yeah, we can hop on up to. So we already did Prospect, so we can go up to Contender then, which JPC will know more about.
Okay. So yeah, like currently in the standings, after our win on Thursday, we are now the number 1 seed. And actually, interestingly enough, like you were mentioning
You're
earlier,
H4K, correct?
yeah, the H4K, we are literally 1, 2, and 3, descending from Contender to Elite in the standings overall. So I believe on
Oh yeah, you
Thursday,
are. Yeah.
yeah, I think we've had a couple like full day sweeps because we only have 1 loss. Our Charlie team is a 1 loss, and our Elite team only has 1 loss. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I see. I was like a lost cat in the streets, and Icy gave me a chance. And honestly, like when I always played Counter Strike, I never really was an entry guy to a certain extent. And then Icy, when he brought me in, he told me I was gonna play entry, and I was like, all right, that's fine, I'll play whatever, because I really wanted to be on a team. And then I looked at
Yeah.
my opening duel stats, and like my opening duel percentage is like 72, and my deaths traded is 19. So my average life is getting our team at least a kill, which I didn't really understand that like as like a stat until I started playing more like team CS. Like that really matters. Like looking at our last game, like on paper, I had the worst I had like a .8 rating, but my where's for example, like my KSAT my KAST was still 72%, which isn't like horrible for only going 10 and 11, you know. And
Yeah.
Jone, by the way, like if you look at our game, Jone decided that he wanted to win, so he went 32 and 10 in a 13-5 stomp
You just
with
decided
160 ADR. Yeah, Jone's absolutely insane. Like honestly, the other games, like he's probably played the same, but just hasn't got the opportunity to get kills. In that game, he just went donk mode and decided to win.
I see that. Holy.
Yeah, like his rating, by the way, before that was like a 1.1 or something. It jumped to a
Yeah,
1.3 overall.
around. Dude, it's always crazy when I look at the Contender graphic. How many teams are? 20 teams in Contender.
Yeah, like honestly, the Hell lost has like Nitro's gonna be listening, but like Hell lost the last 2 weeks, last 2 games, and it's kind of weird. Like it kind of even to me, it kind of evened out. Like I can pull up the standings. Like in Contender, like them losing to LEC was a massive upset because LEC was 1-3, and they actually beat them. What was the score?
Pretty sure it was a convincing game.
Yeah, like a 3 or 4 round difference.
Yeah, like it wasn't like a stomp, but like it was like a
Yeah,
comfortable win, you know.
Yeah, like that was absolutely shocking. Like I don't think it was like I
Yeah.
said, only out of what was it? 29 people. Only 4 people predicted them to win. So
So even like voted wise, yeah, it was like a very big upset. I mean, and I think that's kind of, I feel like everybody could say that too, though. It's like, because you look at them, I mean, they made the move to go get House, and I don't know anything about House. I don't know anything about their team chemistry, any of it. But at the moment, me personally, no kizzy, no cap, I'm scratching my head. Because they're 0-2 cents they got him. And I don't know if it's him. I could just be Nitro. I know how Nitro is. Nitro likes to throw, you know. He likes to make things interesting. Like toss a couple games, you know, make it interesting. He doesn't want. You don't want to go in with that number 1 seed.
I mean,
yeah.
I know House and I had a yap fest on Thursday for honestly like no reason. I called them out because your boy Psychotic carried you in Elite, and I mentioned that he couldn't do it because that's the guy they cut. And then against us, he went 8-12, and then in that game he also went 11-19. So
oh yeah,
I don't know
because you guys played each other.
Yeah, we played each other the day he picked up.
Hell.
Yeah, we played them the day he
and that was
House.
a game. I'm pretty sure even in your predictions, Hell was already favored to win, and then after that, House trade, the majority of people, at least it seemed like, myself included, that more people were even more in favor of Hell winning because it was an already good team, right? They were doing really well. They looked incredibly strong on paper with lots of firepower. That just seemed like a straight bonus in terms of another player that was doing really well in stats. And so happy that Psychotic now has proven that he's still doing really well.
I talked to Nitro after that game, and he told me that he stayed up all night, like legitimately game planning for it, and then we beat them 13-6. So, or Kigu, you might gotta help him out too if he's staying up that late. He might need some help.
Nitro,
he said he was trying to
in the chat. Nitro, my DMs are open. Hey,
he said he tried to stop me, and it did not work. So.
Yeah, man.
I mean, the
bad game planning. We blame the IGL. Icy got the one up on him. GG.
Yo, yeah, Icy is like. He is like, I'm a nerd when it comes to like caring about like stats. Like me and him probably demo review, like not gonna lie, we demo review probably every game. Like we were starting to demoing like preseason games at one point, like just to see how they play. Lord. Yeah, like we watch almost everything.
Oh no.
Like I think we demo reviewed a random Faceit game that someone played. We found the demo file. Like I'm not lying. He is awesome. He's a good guy. Like another thing too is like it's all about having fun.
Yeah, we must be talking about two different Ices.
Like, like our whole team. Like honestly, like I'm new, and I've rubbed some people the wrong way, and I can be a little bit abrasive. But I love our team. Like Ben is like the glue guy. Like he's funny and like just comes offhand. Jonah literally doesn't speak. Like I could probably count on one hand how many words he says in a game. But honestly, the way he communicates is probably the best because he gives you like actual information.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Icy is just really smart. And Trees, like I played a lot of combines with Trees, and we both got drafted to LEC together. And I was kind of excited to play with him. And then we basically traded, now we trade Skiffle for me and him after like all the cuts and ads happen. So it worked out. We end up in the same team. Like Trees is like my right hand man on our Vertigo. He kind of just like flashes for me, and like I go and kill people. It's kind of nice. I have to really think a lot when I play.
So I just something that I want to mention, just because I may or may not be an H4K doubter amongst all your tiers. Contender to Elite, especially in Elite, them frauds carried by Citron. But we'll get to that later in the show. I do want to point out your guys' strength of schedule right now is currently the weakest in all of Contender. So, on paper, yes, you're 4-1, but like, do you feel like, do you feel like it was easy? I guess you know what I mean. Like, does it feel like it should have been easy, or do the games feel harder? Because I like just from my own personal experience. I'll call myself out. We have one of the easiest strengths of schedule right now, like third easiest or something in Elite, and we're also 5-0. And to me, I feel like every game has been kind of like a slugfest, other than like one clean game. But maybe that's just because Elite, like everybody's very competitive. But I don't know how your opinion is on like Contender with the other teams, like in your tier.
So the game we played against, our only loss, we lost it. So first off, it was kind of funny. We lost the 2 subs, so that's nice.
See, that's that sub. Hey, that's that sub bonus. I'm telling you,
So,
super subs
like-
coming in.
And the other joke is like we played an Anubis game. I can't remember who we scrimmed, and I legitimately we went to overtime, we went to double OT. I see you could put it in the chat because I forgot. I think I went like 12 rounds without a kill. I was like legitimately 16 and like 30 or something. It was
Okay.
absurdly bad, like painfully bad. So we get to our match and we get Anubis, and I'm like, oh great. But then I somehow go 23-9-16 and we lose, and that's tough because I had a good day, and we threw, like, if you look at the chart of like the game, we lost 4 post plants. Like that's unexcusable.
Guy was
like,
UPS role playing. He was role playing as me with his performance, and role playing as this
Yeah.
fucking our T side post plans.
Yeah, so we threw so many post plants on the T side, like 4, and if we win those 4 rounds, the game ended because we won 3 rounds in a row on CT side. We won the pistol, the eco, and the bonus, and we that's big. Like you said, Nubis is a heavy T sided map,
heavy
and we just
T-sided
couldn't
map.
convert. So I don't think it's easy.
I mean,
like
it happens. Yeah.
we have this week, we have to play Storm, and who's our second game this week? I can pull it up. We play Storm and AP. So we play.
'cause the only reason I asked is because I feel like it's one of those things where, like, oh, dude, your strength of schedule is so easy. Like, well, no, duh, you guys are 4-1. But the problem is it's like, okay, we're talking like small percentage differences between, like, you know what I mean, like first to second to third to fourth to fifth, like in between easiest to hardest kind of deal, right? Obviously, there's a huge gap from the easiest to the hardest, but even then, right? I feel like, heaven forbid, right? If the numbers are working as the numbers should be, everybody within the tier should be relatively competitive. It's kind of up to the teams on how they actually work together. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's obviously you have a team that doesn't work together at all, they're going to do worse. And you see that with some of the teams that are 0-5, 1-4, some of the teams that are getting 13-0'd. Like, I mean, it's going to happen, but I think the round win percentage is sometimes, or not the round win percentage, the like strength of schedule. I feel like sometimes it's kind of misleading to an extent.
I mean, also like you said, it's really early. So like if you look at the standings for
Yeah.
almost every tier, it's like what standings tabs.
But yeah, I mean, contenders literally got like what is that? 10 teams, 12. It's like 10 or 12 teams that are all 2-3 or 3-2. So it's like,
so like one win either way, it's even.
yeah, and it would change, but and then that one win either way could potentially change. Like, oh, obviously over half the teams' strength of schedule. You know what I mean? If the difference of a 2-3 team to a 3-2 team, I don't know how much of a difference that actually makes within the like percentage wise, but I mean that one difference and one win or not can shift, I feel like, the numbers a lot. So I feel like the strength of schedule is almost pointless until like the end of the season. At least not pointless, but you get that like good picture of, okay, they played the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3. They played them in the preseason, so they didn't have to play them in the like the regular season. So like, yeah, okay, they haven't even played the best teams, but they're, you know, also, let's say, undefeated, right, as these other top teams are. But it's like, well, how good are they actually? They haven't had to play against the other top teams. So I think it'll be curious to see how it turns out towards the end of the season, especially in a tier like contender where there's 20 teams and you only play 11 games. So you don't even play almost half the teams.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like my spreadsheet, I keep track of like CT rounds 1 and T rounds 1 in the game.
Yeah.
So for instance, like Hell, for example, they've won 35 T rounds and only won 19 CT rounds. Granted, I don't have like that calculation of like what side they started on, so that could technically vary.
Yeah.
But Hell has played map-wise. They've played Anubis, Ancient, Vertigo, Overpass. And I know for a fact that against us on Vertigo, they started on CT side, and we rolled them. So they didn't really get a chance to play T side. So like that number
Yeah.
isn't really helpful too much. Like I feel like the calculation of like the win percentage might be a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing too is like pistol wise, like we sucked at pistols. Like I had like a 30-minute conversation with us before our match on Thursday about how bad we were. And then
Like,
before
we
that
need
day,
to win a pistol round.
we literally won 2 pistols in 4 matches. That's embarrassing.
Holy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we actually won both of them. But yeah, like
But
to highlight like
cheerleaders actually saying, for the record, SOS is round win percentage. So they're more drastic shifts compared to if it was just match record. So
Ooh.
I guess that goes off of if you're getting stomped then. So that doesn't even take into effect just if you win or lose. That, like, if you're losing 13-2, then that's going to make it even more like of a drastic change.
Really?
So that could be then where we're seeing some of these more like as the season goes on, then we'll see more of those like drastic changes. If all of a sudden like H4K, they're 4-1 right now, and now they get all of a sudden 14 or 13-1 or whatever, then it's like, okay, well that could completely change.
I think IC would cut the whole team. But anyways, like another example, like a fun stat, like Neon Knights, they're 0-5, right?
Mhm.
Like gotten smacked. They've won the most pistol rounds. They've won 8. It's kind of
What?
weird. Yeah, they've won 8 pistols.
So they're pistol warriors, and they forgot how to use an AK and an M4A1S, huh? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, they're good. They're demons on the pistols, but they can't actually shoot with rifles.
Who's even on those teams? I shouldn't talk
Dude,
unless
Fat
I know.
Boy.
Digital. Ah.
Wait, Gas. Who's?
Oh, wait,
Pistol
I'm looking at-
Warriors?
I was talking about. Well, I guess Digital's on Decibel Demons.
Yeah, JPC. Who'd you say were the Pistol Warriors?
Neon Knights. They are the
Oh,
pistol
gas.
demons.
Yeah,
I'm
gas.
trolling.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. A lot of teams have
That's
won it.
Mutant, CBB, Nick, Curious, Fat Boy, and Vivid Dark FPS. Oh, so that's a bunch of teams or a bunch of like returning players, I believe. I know Fat Boy and Curious
yeah,
at
Fat Boy,
least are.
CBB, Nick, and I'm Mutant. I'm pretty
Mutant is
sure.
too. I think Mutant's new to the franchise though. I believe Mutant was like
I'm pretty
ATL or
sure as
something last
well.
season.
Yeah. Vivid Dark, I know was a DE, and then I'm not entirely sure about Curious. I mean, a team that I'm pretty sure even in my own predictions earlier on, I had like put them beating a couple of teams. I definitely did not see this team starting 0-5. So
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at their win. They're not their wins, but I'm looking at like their matches, and it's like 13-5, 13-8, 13-5, 13-4, 13-8. So it's like it looks like you said, if they've won 8 pistol rounds, so what is that? They've played 5 games, so there's 10 total. So they've won almost all of their pistol rounds.
And
So
they
that's
can't
literally,
win.
like, they're
And they
winning
can't
their
win.
pistols, they're winning the couple of conversion rounds after each game, and like
Well,
that's it.
actually, ready? So they've played what? They've played. This is 5 games. They've only won 30 rounds, and 8 are pistols. So the quick math is 27% of their round wins are pistol wins. Like that's actually crazy if you think about it.
Wow.
Like they just don't convert. I don't like, and I think like low key, like the way the season goes and with 20 teams, like you could change that. Like you'd have to have like a perfect run, but if you're winning your pistols and you could figure out how to win your mid rounds,
Yeah.
it's possible.
I mean, it kind of
Like,
seems
hey.
like I don't want to be like a leaker or anything here, but I'm not sure this team is looking for any changes at the moment. Like I kind of
I don't think
and maybe it would have been really helpful to have like had talked to one of the players beforehand, but yeah, I'm just
I
gonna
think
go on an
that might be one of
assumption.
those teams though that just has like good vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there are a lot of the teams like that where like they might not necessarily be finding full success on the server, but they're just vibing, they're having fun, they're a team that clicks, like what I mean, like maybe not clicks in terms of like obviously winning, like they're not putting it together on the server, but like they don't care, they're just having fun, like what I mean.
And I don't think any of us know that for fact, but I am gonna go out on I guess a bit of a limb and make that a prediction based off of I guess the information that we have available, that like there's a bunch of good components here, and I think I'm going to just assume that they get along relatively well, and maybe a couple demo reviews might just be the key for this team to find a bit more success if they already have good shooters and they're like looking good in these pistol rounds like you had mentioned, which I know isn't everything and could very easily change. It's only been 5 match days so far, but yeah.
another interesting thing is like Storm, for example. They've won 67 rounds. 40 of them have been on T side. They actually have the most on T side. Yes, Storm. So wet.
Holy.
Yeah. So we're kind like example of balance. Like AP is balanced. They're like 32 and 34. They're balanced team. It's like close. Actually, Cal is very balanced. 37, 38.
Oh my good. Yo.
Wait.
I'm
Is
looking at-
that math wrong? Is that math wrong? No, it is right. It's right. Yeah, 70. No.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yo, not to be biased.
UPS. Sorry, UPS. 76. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I meant. Yeah, UPS. Yeah, you guys have won the most rounds.
2.5% CT RWOA. And I know I was just talking. I demo reviewed with the contender team last night too, and I talked with Stuke because I was like, yo, like where are you guys struggling? And he's like, honestly, it's our T side. which I'm seeing the numbers now. It is like, and it's not even that it's horrible. Like they're still in the top half of the league in terms of their T side number. But he's like, yo, we're super strong. We're shut down CT. Bro's got a 72.5%, and mind you, they have a 56% like strength of schedule, like the hardest schedule in contender right now, with that good of a.
Oh, they play 3
CT.
OT games. That's why. That's why they have so many
Wow.
rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, their first, second, and fifth game have been all OT, and
All
they played
OTs,
actually
yeah.
double OT. No,
Yep.
2 double OTs and 1 OT, which
Hey,
is kind of crazy.
hey, contender ain't ready, bro. I set them boys up. We demo reviewed. We talked some things over. Yo, they're gonna be. Ooh, they got that Kigo tech on the T side in contender.
Love to prove you wrong, but we don't even play them. So
Just wait for it. Hey, playoffs, make it there, and they'll see you. All right.
my first interaction with Kono is him predicting against us, and I sent him the 2K meme about beating their own team, and then we won. So that felt good.
Yeah, sounds like a typical Kono.
They had but they did have.
Then you
cool
guys go out and
feedback.
win this week. I'm just saying, like that's like
It was a big win. Yeah, no, it was a double
Speaking of
OT.
upsets,
I would love
yeah.
to talk about. I'd love to also see your opinions on the Big Slime team, having just played them match day 4. But I know
you guys had like what was your win percentage? What was the prediction? Hang on, let me pull it up for you. Yeah,
For
you
that one?
guys were. Where is she?
But
Oh god, what's your big slime name? Sludge Squad.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys were predicted 11% to win that game. That's crazy.
It was almost 90% in favor of AP, which was completely understandable because I mean AP was doing really well, and will likely continue to still do really well with like Sainted at the helm, and then some of the shooters that he's got with him. But yeah, I have been kind of holding out on the Sludge Squad team. They started 0-3, with subs the whole way through. Cool Kid, one of our big signees, ended up having a 3 match day ban to start out the season, and so going right into match day 4 against H4K, who I'd also considered one of the best teams in contender. I mean, literally standing number 1 in the rankings right now. I knew that was going to be a tough game for him to just immediately walk into, or that stack, that 5-man team. At least for their first game to play together.
I'm not gonna lie, you guys also took us to Vertigo. I don't know what your team does for like map prep, but we were like literally giggling because it was like, okay, so I can't remember how it went down, but it ended up I was like, oh, we get to play Vertigo again? Oh no, we're so sad. We were Vertigo merchants, like you guys were Overpass merchants for a while.
You guys are Vertigo merchants. You're regular season merchants. Look, we're just playing for playoffs here. All right, we're just playing for a chip.
Hey, tell them real, so real.
I like to point out one thing: both upset matches today, or like that match day, were on Mirage, which is kind of interesting. Like, I feel like Mirage is a map where it can turn into a pug fest, where like someone just turns on the aim and you can like actually flip the script. Same with Vertigo too, honestly, a little bit. Like, it's not puggy, but it kind of is at some points. Like, your entry guy just runs in and gets like 2 kills quick, you can flip the whole map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean definitely.
But no, kudos to AP. They played really well. It took a double overtime for Sludge Squad to find their first win of the season, which means that we will no longer be having the what's a good name for it? The winless teams playing against each other in Sludge Squad and Gas. I think there was a couple people looking forward to that potential matchup. But,
yeah.
Yeah, because you're the only winless team. No, wait. Decibel Demons and you. No, there's only 2 winless teams left. Decibel Demons and Gas.
Yeah, there's still a chance for it.
Gas.
I just know that some of the people in Sludge Squad.
Do they play each other? No, I need to look. Let's see.
So I think they were going to play each other relatively soon. So if they both lost this match and the next 1 or 2 matches, I think it was.
Oh, wait, no way.
They
play each other on Tuesday. DB and Gas. Oh my god.
Really?
It's perfect. It's perfect.
There it is.
It's scripted. Yeah, they play each other on Tuesday. That's great. Yeah, there we go.
Other than that, though,
someone's gonna walk away.
I don't know. Kona, how long do we have left? Is it only like another 20 minutes?
Yeah, about 10, 15. We'll probably go.
Okay.
So
I'll stop yapping. You got.
Yeah, I mean, we can always come back to other tiers later on. So, next week, if it comes.
We'll move on to your domain, Kono.
To Chally.
The one, the only. Yeah. We'll just cut
Chally.
Premiere off.
Yeah, I mean, we can always come visit
We can come
Premiere,
back.
bring on a guest next week. So
We'll start. Yeah, we'll start with Premiere next week first, and bring somebody on.
do I have the match day 5 ones? I think this is the correct one. So
I mean,
this is the
honestly, you only have
current
to go through
standings.
like 2 games for them, so it's kind of quick. It's like 6 teams.
Yeah.
Speed run.
Speed run the last 3 tiers. But what's happening in Chally?
So I guess my first question for you:
Yeah.
how the hell is Zims and his gang of hoodlums continuing to get
I
away
don't
with these
know.
atrocities?
Chally's just a bunch of frauds. It's all the fake contender promos and all the fake elite,
Like not
demons,
good enough for elite, or what? Are you
I
calling people out right
guess.
now?
I don't know, man. It's a bunch of people who've been sitting around in CSC for a little too long. That's all I'm gonna say, myself included. I'm ready to retire. No, Chally is I think really what kind of makes me unsure of what to think of the whole tier is the upsets that have happened. Can you actually based off the predictions, what were the upsets for match day 5 Chally JPC?
Argonauts beating Falcons,
That was
Leopards
the
beating
first one.
Drakes, and the Masters beating the Decoys.
Wow. So
The
I mean
3.
AVI losing that's the wrong one. I gotta scroll over my own little sheet. AVI losing to ATL. It was funny. I actually predicted this upset. I don't even remember why. I just remembered thinking I think AVI is going to choke this for some reason, which they really shouldn't be. They're such a good team. They've got really good shooters. I know Kigo might think differently based off
Of who?
AVI, the AM carry machine, the Zim Fluffy team, Cam, Am and Cam. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, there's
Oh
something.
no, you didn't do predictions. What's going on?
Did I not submit them to you?
You didn't do Chally predictions.
I did my own ones. I have them here.
Those don't count. Those aren't
They
real.
do because I post them before the match happens. So
I know.
I can't.
You did elite. You did elite, which is weird, but you didn't do Chally.
Well, I mean, it was just because I probably.
Hey, Kono knows the real
Missed the link.
tier. The real tier of CSC.
So that was the
Respect.
first one that I saw or I predicted, but like was crazy upset in my mind. What was you said? HG.
You talking about AVI?
Yeah, AVI lost. There was
Because
two
AVI
other
lost
ones.
ATL. Yeah, hey, I'm not gonna say it's a coincidence, but I call the Zim guy out. I call that team out as being frauds, and they go and they prove the man right. Hey, that's all I'm saying.
Sav versus Drakes. So I don't know what Drakes is off the top of my head.
DRG. The
DRG, yeah, the one person. Shout out that guy, Rustation. Yeah, you picked that right. Congratulations, you only won.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, did he have the
DRG,
best? No.
My prediction.
He actually had the best pick'ems. Funny
Really?
enough. He had 6 correct predictions, yes.
Wow.
Gigu, I don't see you on here either, so I feel like you yap a lot and didn't even make it public of who you thought, happened.
I did him last week, and then I think I skipped him this week. I don't think I got the notification. I might have done elite. I don't remember.
You
It's
need
now-
to make like a little newsletter, a little sign up, so that way if someone doesn't send their predictions, you can just like ping them.
Oh my god, man.
That's not,
So
that
I
sounds
think,
really complicated. But
so they're giving me like in talks with Yeti, they're gonna give me my own ping, so like I don't blow up event interest.
Yeah, so you can just ping like the pick'ems.
At
kind
literally
of
at
thing.
Pick'ems, yeah, which is
Oh, that's sick.
would be nice because then it makes it easy because then you just sign up for it and then you're locked in like you just said.
Yeah, and then you can get the pings. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to I'm trying to I was told to only do like 1 per match day, so I'm trying to save it for tomorrow so I can post the breakdown like we're talking about and then add the new ones for this week so I don't blow it up.
Just from looking at this, there's a couple of teams that I find interesting. I'm looking at again at like the win loss, the round win percentage on like the T and CTs and stuff. So I think it's kind of cool to see Scallywags continuing to still do decent. That's AP Chally team. They're still they're not like top of the tier, but they're 3-2. They're one of the top half teams. They do have the easiest schedule on paper, or whatever, based off like the round wins, whatever, right? But I like to see that just because I know that was the team that lost Starly. I believe they lost a couple other players too, like in the transition. So I like to see that they're still hanging around, they're still chilling, they're doing good. I already mentioned Hell. Hell, they're whatever, dude. Hey, your little reign of terror is coming to an end soon, Zims. I know it's all right. We mentioned H4K too when we talked about contender. They're another tier that they're dominating in. Who's even on the H4K Charlie team?
Dibes,
Do we know?
Yeah, the goat.
the one and only.
Dibes is playing,
Yeah.
Yes.
and we're letting him win in Charlie right. Oh my lord.
Yeah, we're letting
Wolfie, Quang, Dibes.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? Yo,
Ernesto with a 1.3, looking good, guys. I think
Charlie's in the dumps.
This is
we-
what
I-
I'm saying.
we came in after we won our game, and we already saw them in there, and we had like, what are we, 13-6? Like, how'd you guys win so fast? What are you guys doing?
They're already done, yeah.
Yeah, they're already done like playing a pug.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm looking at some of these other teams too. Like looking at the bottom, we got LEC, we got HG. We'll skip those pretty Panay fellas. we got the Drakes. So it's kind of we've already. I think we're gonna see changes.
We're gonna skip the 1-4 team. You gotta talk about them, no? What happened to your Charlie team? Aren't you helping them?
We don't.
Like Clumsy was calling me a yapper. So you want what's going on down there? You gotta let us some info. You got inside stuff. What's wrong with them?
You know, they're cooking big things. Big things planned. Listen, all I'm saying, don't sleep on the second half. Leak it? Yeah, Cloud. What do you mean leak it? Can I leak it? Wait, what am I leaking though? DM me what I'm leaking because I don't want to leak the wrong thing. I don't want to leak the wrong thing.
I'll leak it.
You just
Leak it. Do it. Yeah,
leak
whatever it
then.
is.
If you know what he's talking about, then leak it because I don't want to leak the wrong thing.
Just leak everything, and then we'll like roll it
Yeah,
back.
no.
Afterwards.
See, I don't want to
We'll
leak the wrong things.
We'll just delete the VOD, and then you can like figure it out. We'll like rewrite it.
Hey,
Rerun
Cloud
it
is
back.
DM me. Woj bomb. Woj bomb is dropped. UPS Charlie is signing Psychotic. Elite Slayer.
My
Elite
boy.
Slayer.
My boy.
My goat. The Elite Slayer Psychotic is coming to UPS, so we're signing him. We're force promoting him to contender or to Charlie.
Challenger, yeah.
Yeah, to Charlie. He is a
Sheesh.
contender player. We're signing him. We're force promoting him to Charlie to make a change.
Big news.
Um,
Heard it here first before it even hit the
and
transaction.
apparently that's the first Woj bomb. Second Woj bomb. We're also picking up a Kiro. Apparently, Kiro.
Really?
So from I believe LEC, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where he is right now.
That
Is
is
LEC, which
a
LEC
beat
is
that I
0
didn't
and
know
5.
about. I could have told you the
So-
other one, but that's a big pickup. Good for him.
So he gets.
Yeah, I don't know
cut
who the
from a
hell a
contender
Kiro is,
team?
bro. I don't know
Oh.
who the hell that guy is.
He's washed.
He got cut from a
Bob-
contender team, gets picked up by an elite or a Charlie team. What's going on? What
So,
happened?
contender team,
so-
subbed for an elite team, picked up by a Chally team. Man, he's
And personally, I was a big part of pushing for that. I think Psychotic is a very competent player compared to most. I'll be honest, when Cloud mentioned it to me, because we weren't gonna even play with him, he was like, "We all we gotta do." He was convincing me. This is Cloud convincing. He's like, "Listen, we'll just pick him up for the scrim. If he's not good, you don't like him, he doesn't vibe, he doesn't listen to your calls, we won't play the game with him." I'm like, "Fine, whatever, we'll try it." And I was okay with it. And he honestly, I'll put myself on blast. We were losing our scrim 1-11 to one of the worst teams in Elite. We were getting stomped. And Psychotic didn't lose his cool once. He didn't get upset. He didn't mauled. He didn't get angry. He didn't nothing. He was just he's like, "Where do you want me to go now? What do you want me to do now? I can throw this retake flash the whole time." And it was really cool to see that he was very, chill about it all, right? And then we ended up actually coming back on T side and we ended up losing 13-11 after starting 1-11.
Damn, that's a comeback.
And I didn't give a crap. It was a scrim. I'm like, dude, scrim. I'm not gonna be a scrim merchant, bro. I beat him already in the match day, so I don't care that we lose a scrim to somebody. But yeah, no. So that's kind of cool. So we're trading for Akiro, I believe. I'm assuming we're trading for him because I know he's signed right now.
For legal purposes, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
there's been rumors.
That's the leak I heard.
We have nothing involved and have no information. It would be interesting to see Akiro on UPS.
So Kigo, we're a week and a half out of the house trade. How are we feeling about it? What do you think? Was it good or not?
Mid. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mid? Damn.
Mid.
So
I think it was mid so
damn.
far. I think Psychotic. I mean, I don't know anything that happened with all that. I think Psychotic's a very good player. I think he's very competent. From playing one game with him, I think he's one of the best contender players I've played with, or even talked to or seen. Just in terms of how he not even, and I'm not talking about from raw skill. I'm just talking from Like being a competent player, listening to the calls, doing what he's told to do, getting opening picks on T-side opping, like actually just doing what he's supposed to be doing as a player, right? Like he doesn't necessarily like overreact. He doesn't, you know what I mean? Like he does what he needs to do, and I like that because he fit into what we needed perfectly. You know what I mean? He didn't need to be the hero, and he stepped up in a big game for us. So
Now we just gotta see if he can fit into the
to the Chally team, which I'm gonna work with them. That's the one team I haven't really worked with yet, as I've been busy doing my own plotting, my own scheming to take down all of Elite. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a. It's kind of same with every tier though. It's this time of the season, right? You're gonna see these teams like LEC, HG, UPS, DRG. These teams at the bottom, they need to make a move. Something needs to happen, right? And I think it was one of those situations. At least I know for like UPS. I don't know about the rest of the teams. If people can't play if there's not a understanding across the whole team of how we want to play, then something needs to change, right? Whether it's 3 people want to practice, they want to grind, they want to be really good as a team, and 2 people can't, whether that because of other commitments or they just don't care to actually play the game as much as the other people do, then something has to happen to get 2 more people on the team that want to grind. You know what I mean? Or let those 3 go off to a team that want to grind with them and bring in, 3 people just to give them a chance to play on a team kind of deal, and just whatever happens, happens. So I think it's cool to see some of the teams making moves. In this case, it was my team, UPS, my franchise, making moves. Allegedly, nothing's obviously confirmed yet, but allegedly.
I've played with Psychotic before too. Like we played a lot of our combines together, and we plugged together like during that time. Like I enjoyed playing with him. Like, and I felt bad for him when he got cut. Like I messaged him and I asked him like what happened. Like he was playing well. They were winning. They were like honestly they were 3-0, and then you cut him, and now you've lost 2 games. Like
yeah.
Or 2-0, sorry, 2-0. Were they 3-0 or 2-0?
2-0, I believe. Or maybe
2-0. Like they were 2-0 and you cut them, and then you go 1-2. Like kind of weird.
But yeah, there's a lot of just to wrap up Chally real quickly before we speed run in 5 minutes or less Elite. Yeah. There's just a lot of uncertainty. I think even like one of the last names and teams that I can point at, somebody who's been talked about a lot so far this season, Sage, who's been showing up tremendously for Nan. One of the favored teams, I think the last upset that you had mentioned played against ACA, a team that was I guess struggling a bit more so far in the first 4 match days, ended up beating Nan. So that was a pretty big, currently team 12th in standings even after that win, beat Nan, who is 3rd in standings even after that lost. So
yeah, the Sage saga continues.
I feel like the standings will shake out in probably next week, after next Thursday. We'll start to see an actual 1 through 5. Because right now everyone's within 1 game.
Did just see ACA had a sub for that game who dropped 30. So.
Arrow. Yeah. But
wait, he dropped 30. Pick him up. I guess that's your new. Is he a PFA or FA? Do we know?
I'm not sure.
Technically on the site it says he's signed still, so I'm not sure.
But yeah, I'm really interested to see, I guess, after a couple more match days where teams start landing up, and if it's still just going to be this giant slugfest of, there's no top team, there's no bottom team, everyone's just sitting there beating each other up. Or if Zims continues his
dominance.
Illegal dominance.
Yeah. I don't even know how that's allowed.
How are we letting him get away with it? But yeah, let's wrap up real quickly with Elite. Give me the spark notes, Kigo. What's happening? What's interesting?
Yeah, UPS, Chally team with contender sub as we touched on. I don't know, man. Elite, like I said last time on the show, for Elite, they keep letting a Chally squad run through them. And this time, we wanted to even make it more interesting. We played the bottom team and Nan, who was 0-4 at the time. We're like, you know what? Hey, we'll throw Nan a bone. Deluxe is gone. We'll let you not have our best player. We'll even give you a contender player. We'll give you guys a shot. We pulled it out in OT. It was a close game, but I wanted to, give him a bone, just a little dangle, Hey, come here. I don't know. Other than that, Elite to me personally hasn't felt any different than Chally. I think the only difference from Chally to Elite from now my season in both is literally just there's better players just in general, just better raw aimers. The teams don't feel any more organized or any more structured. They feel less structured and organized than other teams. which I think we've struggled with sometimes in terms of, I think some of the elite teams are playing it a lot more puggy, right? Because they're not practicing, most of them. They're not scrimming. I mean, like, I'd say 50-50. Half the teams are, half the teams aren't, right? And I think half the teams that are, we kind of, or that aren't, we kind of struggle with because they're like kind of just pugging it out, and it's just 5 guys that are supposed to be better aimers, you know, because they're in elite, just kind of running at you, which can be tough to handle as, like, for me, from an IGL standpoint of trying to, like, adjust things so we're not just getting ran down by people. But I think overall we have a 60% win rate on CT and a 59% on T side. So we're a very balanced team. We can hit you on the comeback. Like I said, I mean, we were losing our CT on Ancient 1-11, and we came back on T side and almost won in a scrim, which it's a scrim. We were just using it for practice anyway. But it's kind of that concept where I feel very confident in our team. As for the rest of the teams, I still think there's frauds, you know, in our midst at the top.
Well,
I'll call H4K out.
What were the upsets then for this week, match day 5?
Oh,
In elite.
Or elites.
Yeah.
I have
And do they align with Kigo's fraud alert?
Lions winning was. Wait, make sure that's right. Let me just double check my. Yeah, Lions winning was actually surprising, even though they were 3-1 before that game. So they were playing. Were they playing another 3-1 team? Oh, okay, they were.
It seems like most people probably voted OS there, just based off
Yep.
slightly the players and I think.
BS beating Eagles was one.
I think they had a sub as well.
Yeah, only 2. BS beating Eagles, and that was.
Oh yeah, AVI was 3-1, and then they lost to our Goon squad.
Yeah, you guys were like a 35% picked, so definitely favored there, and you guys pulled out the win.
That was a big win for the Rundle.
There's one more game tonight too. We have to.
The ATL versus AP, which is happening around 9 Eastern, or 10 Eastern on stream.
Yeah, I have to do the pick'ems. Have to wait. Sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, even like in my personal honest opinion of elite, and this isn't even like because I'm at number 1 in the tier, right? I feel like the way I worded it,
this Kigo guy be number 1. This guy was
I
a
don't know.
contender player 2 seasons ago. You're letting him run your pockets? Come on now.
First off, I'm not doing none of the pocket running. I got a 0.9 rating. But I'm telling the boys where to go run some pockets, yo. I think it's more of like the way the power rankings committee in elite, the way that we talked about and discussed things. There is UPS at 1, and like right now that is the solid number 1. There's nobody, like, in my opinion, that's close.
I was gonna say.
Glazing, self-glazing coming.
Then there's tiers basically. There's like top 3, so it's like UPS, H4K, and AP. In my opinion, those are like the 3 top tiers that have like the 3 top teams. And then after that, you kind of have your middle of the pack, where it's like your Sav, your Cow, AVI, HG, OS. Like those kind of, like, most of those teams are all 3-2, or I think like Sav's 4-1. But I don't necessarily have anything against Sav.
What's their strength of schedule?
Sav is like second, third, fourth, like 4th easiest.
Okay.
About the same as ours.
Yeah, just like, geez.
About the same as ours, but I mean overall we're winning like the rounds and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know. I think one of the biggest surprises to me is Gas. In my personal opinion, I think Gas is like, although they're 1-4, I genuinely, like, me and Crazy joked about it, but I think they're the kings of the trash right now. Like, I put them above Big Slime. I put them above all the other 1-4 teams. I put them obviously above Nan because they're 0-5. I think that when you take all the bottom tier teams, like, and not even to flame anybody, like, Crazy used that own word about his team, so I was like, you know what, we'll rock with it. The kings of trash, bro. And I think that's a really good team. Gas, they've lost a lot of close OT games. They've lost a lot, like 3 or 4 OT like games, very close games. One being to us, where they brought it back. We had a 9-3 lead, and they brought it all the way back on first match day. Yeah, I don't know. I think the only thing I don't like about Elite, right, or that I'm more worried about for other teams, is like, you look at all these teams like ATL, DRG, Gas, LEC, and Nan. They're 1-4, 1-3 because they haven't, ATL hasn't played 1-4, 1-4, 0-5, right? There's nobody in Elite to make changes with. You know what I mean? Like, you're pretty much this is your team. There's nothing you can really do about it. Now, all those teams have also had the hardest schedules, other than ATL. ATL's had actually the easiest schedule in Elite so far, and they are one of the bottom teams at the moment. So it's kind of that is the only thing I really dislike about Elite compared to like Chally or even any of the other tiers is that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think Elite's kind of in the same spot that it was in last week. There's your top 3 teams. There's kind of your middle pack of that like 3-2 teams, and then that kind of 2-3 to the bottom is all kind of any of them could go from one spot to the other. But yeah, other than that, there wasn't any like big news in Elite. That was pretty much just it. Blitzer got cut. Rest in peace, Blitzer.
R.I.P.
And other than that, that was about it. I think. Nan brought in somebody new. We still beat them with them.
How many overtime games have Gas played?
3 or 4.
Oh, no, 4. That's honestly like to me, like those games are those games where like they tragically could have won. Like they have 4 question marks on there. Those are all losses, right? They lose them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they've
No,
lost
wait, no.
everyone, I believe.
No, they won 1. But 3, like that's like a tragic. Like I play paintball, and usually we come down to like a 2 or 3 point spread. Like it's kind of like rounds, right? And dude, if you lose by 1, it is like the biggest kick in the like ever. Like it is like if they come down and they beat you with like 10 seconds left, like it is the worst feeling ever. And that's tough. Like to go to overtime and lose, even tougher.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So like and also like there's still like also like at this point for tiers, like you said, like getting out of the bottom 4 is all that matters. Like
Yeah,
the regular
no.
season record right now doesn't matter. It's being in the top 10, and all those 1-4 teams have a chance.
And with the way those teams are, they all have a chance because I mean, right now there's a 1-3 they're gonna play tonight, and in my opinion, they're gonna go 1-4 because AP's about to slaughter them in this game tonight.
Shout out Wilson.
But that's the thing is like right now there's a 10th place team that is 1 and potentially 1-4 tonight. That is currently in the playoffs. Like there's so much room still for even a team like Nan that's 0-5 to creep into the playoffs. Big Slime, OS, any of these teams that are on the bottom, they could still very easily fall out of the playoffs. So yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I know we do have to wrap up Elite because we have a stream coming up. Like the main stream is supposed to be hosting one of the Prospect rescheduled games.
Yep.
So other than that, for Elite, that's pretty much it for me. If Kono has anything else he wants to say, I'll let him kind of wrap the show up.
I'll in the ending screen, I'll throw in all the links for feedback, guest form, any info drops or anything like that. More than welcome to take a look at those. We appreciate all of them. We go through all of them. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you to everyone involved in media, CSC admins for helping to make this possible, as well as all the support that we get. And yeah, I'm excited for next week. Please tune in. We will be having Oma to help us cover. I guess we'll start out with the Premier Elite squad, tiers, and have him around, our specialist, our host from seasons 1 and 2, or I guess 11 and 12 technically for CSC wise. But yeah, without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you all next week. Thank you, JPC, as well. Sorry, want to get that out there.
You're good.
JPC, and then as well as Dirt earlier on, Dirt Schlurpy. But yeah,
Happy to be here. It was fun.
I will see you guys all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.